everybody, and welcome to NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm your host, Greg Martin, and it's always an interesting thing when you walk into a new dive shop. I've spent time visiting dive shops all across the country, seeing what those dive shops have to offer. The checkout process when I'm ready to leave with my purchases has always been kind of a unique thing. And actually, when I work with our local dive shop, there's a piece of software out there that has made dive shops much more efficient when it comes to checking out and in integrating a lot more than just the checkout process. We have Steve Ellis with us, who is the principal with Visible Divers. Now, Steve, did you write this? Did you come up with this whole thing yourself?
In the very beginning, I did design it. We have software developers now that do all that work. I don't get to really touch the software code anymore.
What, they won't let you? What's the deal here?
No, they won't actually. So it's safe to do it that way. You know, I'm typically the guy now that's saying I want this feature. I speak for the customer, and they don't want me getting in the middle of that and maybe throwing in a wrench that they weren't expecting. Point of sale is a pretty complicated system. A lot of math. You don't want to get even a penny wrong.
Where did the idea come from with Visible Divers?
I have a day job. I own software companies, but as I was going out teaching scuba diving, I found that the problem when I would go to the store is that anytime I left the store, I wouldn't know what classes were available to teach. I'd have to come back into the store, and I moved, and so I was even further away from the dive shop, so it became harder for me to be able to get in there and have dibs on a class that's available to teach. So that frustrated me. And then everything was always on, the classic wall board, the whiteboard that's on the wall for every store. And if you're not in the store, if you're not calling every day being a nuisance, you're really going to miss out on some opportunities to teach. So I wasn't doing it for the money. Like we all say, we do it because we enjoy the sport. We love it. But that was just making it really hard for me to be able to share my love of the sport with other people when I couldn't actually get booked for a class to teach. I talked with the store owner and I said, is there anything out there that already does this that the store can use? And she said, well, there's stuff out there, but it's just not easy to use. It's difficult. It's kind of 1990s kind of technology. And so I looked at it and I said, there's got to be a way that I can make a difference here. This is my background is, my entire career history was in software engineering and financial systems. So I said, well, let me take a crack at it. Let me see if I can make something that the store can use. In that process, it developed very quickly into the full system.
So what iteration are we at now? Do we know?
So that's a good question. We don't really count them as far as versions go. Since it's a cloud-based system, it'll work on any device anywhere. So there's nothing to download. So we don't have to tell you, this is now version 3, this is now version 4. Updates happen automatically. You could even be using the program when an update occurs and you wouldn't even know it happened, other than there might be a shiny new gadget on the system. So we've done thousands of updates to the system.
I've had the opportunity of getting in and working with you a little bit and seeing the system. And I know our local dive shop is in the process of wanting to switch over, which I'm sure that's good news to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Always. What intrigues me, though, is as you just said, Steve, is the fact that it can be used from anywhere. Our dive shop hosts dives at an off-site location. We have a missile silo, a post-World War II era missile silo that we do dives on all the time. And we have some very cool T-shirts that we like to sell when we go up there. And it's been the old process of trying to fill out forms and take credit card numbers or take cash and that kind of thing. This you can basically do anywhere, yes?
You can. Yeah, you can use any device, even your smartphone or a tablet. Part of the reason that we did that was we felt that, we don't want to have to try and support just Windows or just Mac and losing out on some of the people that use other types of computers. We didn't want to have to worry about, will it work on Windows XP or Vista or whatever it is. A cloud-based opportunity really gave us the ability to support every kind of machine or computer out there, including phones. But the really cool thing that we thought about when we did this was if someone is out there and they're teaching or actually certifying people in open water, what a shame it is that these people are really excited to go diving. They're really excited to take it to the next level. And what is it that we say as instructors to those people? Well, go back to the store, and I'm sure that we have an iTrox class coming up or navigation coming up, and make sure that you get registered into there. And the student's really excited to do it, but when they get into the store eventually to drop off their gear, they don't. It doesn't happen. It doesn't materialize. But if you can actually capture the sale at the moment of their most excitement of the sport, it keeps them going. So you can actually do that sale, upgrade them into that next class right there as you're certifying them.
One of the things that intrigues me from the NAUI side of things is the fact that when you sign up for Visible Divers as a NAUI store, you get a discount. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, you do. That's exclusive just to NAUI.
What does a dive shop have to do to get involved with Visible Divers?
Well, so we made it really easy for people to get into it. So they can go directly onto the site and create what we call the diver account first, because you need to register yourself as a person into the program. And then right there on the site, it says add your business. You just click that, it'll walk you through. It even gives you a 30-day trial of the fully functioning system for $1. At that point, during that month, we will contact the store, and we do require training. So the training is free because we consider them even for $1 to be a customer. So we give them 6 sessions of training. They're half an hour each, and we like to do that inside of that first month. It's kind of like how we certify people for diving. You don't want to send someone out into the water with gear at the risk that they're not sure what they're doing with it. So we certify them. Same thing with a store. We're running everything about your livelihood. It's important that you know everything about it. It's important that you really understand it, why we built it the way we did, why it does certain things it does to really benefit you as a store.
Are there any features in here that perhaps, what's the word that they use these days, Easter eggs, hidden features that shops should know about?
That's a good question. We go through the training. We try and make sure all that's really well uncovered. One of the neatest things about our system, though, that an outsider might not know about it, is that we have a master database of all the products, well, nearly all the products in the industry. That's hundreds of thousands of product records. And in nearly every case, they're provided by the manufacturers themselves, which makes them official product records. So our system does a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of automation for people. I mean, this could actually have 2 people running a Walmart if they really wanted to. That's how powerful it is. With all that information already built into the system and constantly being updated, the store doesn't have to. The store doesn't have to put in every single product record. They don't have to put in all that information. It's there. And we made tools to make it really easy to just cherry pick to load up inventory. So that's, I think, one of the biggest advantages of the system is by having all that information, it's just faster to use.
And one other thing that I enjoy a lot is the fact that, as you stated earlier, is you sign up first as just a diver, and you can just utilize the system as a diver. You can log equipment, and you can log dives as well, can't you?
Absolutely. So as a diver, we wanted to make sure that this was meaningful for the entire industry. So while we focused really first on the functionality for a dive center, it was important to bring the diver in as an element of it. The entire world needs to revolve around the dive center. We all know that if a dive center dies, that's the beginning of the death of the industry in that particular area. By having the divers themselves engaged and interested, we find that it keeps a strong relationship with them in the store. So we give them digital delivery of receipts like you would get at any normal modern store these days. You're able to track your gear. You're able to receive notifications of events that are coming up, reminders. It really is about trying to keep you aware and interested in what's going on in the sport.
And keep in mind, too, if you're looking at Visible Divers, that if you are a NAUI store, you do wind up getting a discount either off the monthly or the annual contract. And you do set it up as either of those two, monthly or annual?
We do. We give the store either option. We see throughout the year, some stores, when they come in during the winter, sometimes it's not so easy to pay an annual fee. So we let them do monthly until they, if they ever want to switch it into an annual, that's certainly their choice.
So, Steve, if somebody's interested in jumping into Visible Divers, how do they do that? Where do they go?
Well, so the easiest way is just go straight to visibledivers.com. Right there on the homepage, we just ask for 3 pieces of information. Tell us what kind of username you want, tell us your email, and put in a password for yourself. The system will verify your email address with you, and you're off to the races. At any time, though, a store can always email or call us, and we're happy to walk them through in case something is a little bit unusual that, they're not familiar maybe with some of the modern web technologies.
So if you're looking for a way to just keep track of your dives, you can do that through Visible Divers as just a diver. If you're looking for shop support and you're looking for some new software, you can do that there. And it just seems like an awesome piece of equipment to keep diving into the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Well, we don't know yet. Where are we going after cloud support? Do we know, Steve?
I think it'll have to be embedded in our brains at that point.
Probably. And Visible Divers will be there, I'm sure, right?
We'll see about that one.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right. Again, it's Visible Divers, VISIBLE divers.com. And Steve Ellis, thanks for spending some time and talking with us about this today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Visit your local NAUI dive shop and talk to them about learning to scuba dive. And if they're using Visible Divers, be sure and check out all the classes and so forth right there. That's this episode of NAUI's Dive Team Report. I will be talking with you next time. This is Greg Martin. I'll see you underwater.